So, can you just briefly introduce yourself, your current position, and your career in accounting so far?
All right, I'm Brent Price. I'm currently the controller of Foster Fence Limited.
All right.
My career journey in the accounting field. I started out in the rent-to-own business.
Okay.
Because I didn't make good grades in school.
All right.
And I had to do my penance. And then I moved on to, I went to work after a couple of different stops. I went to work as a controller for one of my friends from college, and I worked in the road striping business for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to start my own business, and then I realized that wouldn't support me, so I went back to work I went into the heavy construction for heavy civil for another 10. And then when I got out of that, I bounced around a little bit, and I worked a couple of one-year deals with places that are as controller. Been a controller my whole career.
Okay.
And I came to work here in 2018.
Awesome. All right. Well, how has your career progressed from your initial role to your current role?
So like I said, I worked my way through college and did a lot of other stuff and didn't make very good grades. So the public companies weren't interested in me. So I had to do a couple of years worth of grunt work. Mm-hmm. And so I started out as my first real accounting job was actually as an AP clerk at Renter's Choice, which is now Rent-A-Center, at the corporate offices in Dallas.
Ooh.
And it was not a very glamorous job. But
that's funny.
And to now, and I've been a controller for probably 25 years now.
Wow. All right. Well, what skills and qualities do you believe are essential for success in accounting?
Okay. So, on my priority list, the top thing is accuracy.
Accuracy.
Everything you do has to be accurate.
Very true.
Then, second is, and this is very hard for a young person, and you probably won't listen, but I learned this lesson very painfully and very quickly. You have to see the big picture.
Okay.
So we tend to get down in the weeds of, even now my job, I'm down in the weeds of individual transactions and worrying about every little thing. When you get done with that, before you turn all that in to your boss or your whoever you report to, stand back from it and look at the big picture. Does this look reasonable? Is there something crazy on here that I'm missing that somebody who's been in this business is going to look at and say, hey, wait a minute, this is not right.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
For sure.
It sounds like it's not, but it's a gigantic deal.
Yeah.
And then last is in the accounting profession, we call it professional skepticism. Mm-hmm. What I like to say is intellectual curiosity. Mm-hmm. So when you see something that's not right,
yes,
or it's not right, spend the extra little time to go in there and
investigate,
dig down and fix it now, because what you might find is this is a systemic problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found this one, but there's 100 more just like it.
Right, that weren't caught.
It could be that somebody's stealing and you don't, that's how that's uncovered.
Yeah. All right. How has technology such as AI and automation impacted your accounting profession?
Well, a couple of things. So directly on accounting. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to start with the non-accounting one first. This Zoom and Teams and all this stuff.
Right.
Learn that stuff because nobody's leaving home anymore.
Yeah.
I did a complete sales tax audit through Zoom. Mm-hmm. Everybody's using it, so you kind of have to get used to that.
Yeah.
But as far as the direct accounting stuff, like nowadays, all of your payroll is collected in the field through cell phones.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other stuff. There's all these reporting tools that you can use and collect data. off-site. And that automates it. And then what happens, where the end game is so you have to learn to handle large amounts of daily transactions. So like all these things are generating a line item in a spreadsheet or a database somewhere. And so you kind of have to learn to dump those into something and very quickly turn them into data you can use, because otherwise it's all meaningless.
Yeah, very true. What challenges do you face in adapting to these technological changes?
Well, it's everything from so at a smaller company like this, I mean, if you worked at Shell, it would be completely different.
Yeah.
The same, your role in it would be different. It's a completely the same set of scenarios, but it's just who's handling it is different.
Yeah.
So like at a smaller outfit, I have to make sure that server is working all the time. I have to make sure the phone service is all up to speed, the people that run the internet, because we're so tied to everything coming in off site. If you're 1 minute without the internet, it's, the world's coming apart because people can't get paid on Friday. And so that's that's a big deal. And so that is the biggest challenge, is making sure that everything works as advertised. And I'm going to give you another example that happened today, is that we're doing all of our quotes now through a service that we buy. And those people, and we just got the resolution to it, somebody on the back end had changed a password to some report writer that actually makes this thing work. And all of our salesmen start flipping out because their quotes are not coming out like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
All because somebody somewhere else that we had no control over changed the password to something.
Wow.
So we got it under control, but like it's more managing, because the technology makes it easier, but it can also be a problem in 1 second.
For sure, especially if like an external provider is, doing that. It can definitely be tricky with communication and all that jazz.
Always.
All right, I have my partner Sean here, and he's going to ask you a couple more questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. For this question could you share like an example of a ethical dilemma you've encountered in your career and how you solved that?
Yeah. So there's always one, but I'll nail it down to just a couple of things. Like for instance, the first time I had somebody pay me a big bunch of extra money that I didn't have coming. It happens. I was so shocked by it. I just, the first couple of times I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And those people would have never caught it. And when I say a lot of money, I mean, it was like $25,000 or $30,000.
Wow.
And they never knew they had done it. And to me, it was never a consideration. Obviously, my first consideration is making sure it is actually an overpayment, and I'm not about to give back a bunch of money that they don't have coming. But once you get to the very end of it, I got to the end of it, and it was a specific construction deal. Obviously, we deal in retainage. They hold 10% retainage on every job until you get to the end of it. When they release it in the heavy civil, they will release it in stages. They'll give you 5%, then they'll release it down to sometimes 2%, then down to 0.
Yeah.
Well, they released 5%, then they released 5%, and they released another 5%.
Oh.
Which is more than they had ever held, and so that's how it became such a big deal.
Wow.
And so for me, it was never, you just do the right thing. And the guy that I worked for at the time, I actually wrote this down on my little notes for this.
Yeah.
That the guy that I worked for at the time and the guy that I work for now, I mean, one of the reasons why I do what I do and I work for the people that I work for, their first question is always, what is the right thing to do? I remember him asking me that day. What's the right thing to do? Well, the right thing to do is pay these people's money back, because even though they're stupid and they paid me too much and I see how they did it, and I had to convince them. This is the other thing. I had to convince them that this was their money. That was the part I left out.
What?
I could have kept it, and they were adamant that it wasn't my money, that they owed me that money.
Wow.
And I had to convince them. I had to show them on paper, and I was like, "Look, here's the check numbers of where you paid me. Look what your contract was, and look how you paid me too much money."
Yeah.
And when they finally got to it, they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, here's where you can send the check." But so yeah, it wasn't necessarily an ethical dilemma for me. But I'll tell you guys, every day. You're handling it. The overarching thing is, I don't treat Foster's money like it's my money. I treat Foster's money like it's Foster's money. It's not my money. It's never my money. You're going to deal in this business. You're going to deal with huge amounts of zeros and I mean, like money like you've never imagined. You're going to see. But it's not my money, so it's just numbers on paper. Yeah. You know, it's never mine to keep. So, as long as you keep that in mind.
Thank you for that. We just have 2 more questions, and then we'll be out of your hair.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's the funnest thing I'm gonna do all day.
Well, we're glad we could help.
Yeah. This is one of the first of the 2. What are some effective strategies for networking and building relationships in the accounting industry?
Okay. So you guys put a big star next to this. This is the most important question on this whole thing, by the way.
All right.
Other than the ethics. Other than the ethics, that's important. But this right here is how do you get a job? How do you network? How do you do all these things? So this is my 30 years in me talking.
Okay.
When I started out, I did not do any of this stuff knowingly or purposefully or
intentionally.
You need intentionally. That's a good word. Begin with the end in mind. Okay. So I actually took notes for myself because this is important. This is like the biggest one. So first off, you need to be kind.
Yes.
You never know who is going to help you get a job.
Very true.
Or a gigantic deal. And I told Trent this story, but 2 people in the last month that I have worked for in the past have called me and offered me jobs. One of them was like a $3 billion division for something. I mean, these are some pretty big deals. I don't want that. That's not what I want to do. But I had 2 people that I'd worked for in the past, and I was only tangential. Like I didn't work for them. These aren't people that I really know well, but just people that I maybe went to lunch with one time, and I mean, just worked kind of side by. Came back and offered, hey, we're looking for this. Are you interested? And so you never know. You never know where these people are going to end up. So be kind to everybody that you meet. So this is a huge one. Be super careful on social media. I know they're telling y'all this, but be super careful on social media because you can screw up one of those deals with one stupid thing.
Very true.
Treat it like it's a business. I personally, I do use LinkedIn. Yeah. I say you should right now open up a network.
I have a LinkedIn.
And don't use it for anything else. I would only use it. I would never post on it. I would, I'm back to the being careful. However, I would start building my network out and, use people that obviously that can help you, but be intentional. And that's a good word. Be very intentional about everything you do from here moving forward is where do you want to be?
For sure.
Start your job search early. The first job you get won't probably be your dream job. Go ahead and get that out of your mind. It's going to be your third one. That's probably going to be where you really kind of want to be. And what I was going to say is, the Lord moved me around to different places that some of them I thought were terrible. I mean, they were not good jobs. Yeah. But in every one of them, I learned something. Now that I'm looking back, I learned something super important, something that I needed to know for the future that makes me be able to do my job now.
For sure.
And then last thing, and I did not do this, so I'm saying
for us,
if you want to open opportunities, you probably should at least do some public accounting early in your career, like right off the bat.
All right.
People always ask it. I never did it, so I kind of had to go the hard way.
Yeah. I switched my major to accounting, so this is definitely helpful advice for me.
See, I didn't declare that wasn't what I was going to do. I could have just as easily been a heavy equipment operator, or I worked a bunch of terrible jobs, and I did it, and I'm actually that's going to be one of my answers later on. But my dad said, "Hey, there's kind of a shortage of accountants. You ought to jump out there and do that." So, that's kind of how I got to this.
Thanks, Dad.
Like math,
Yeah.
So.
All right, and then one final question. Wait, never mind. Sorry, not one final question. We have a lot more. How can students differentiate themselves and stand out to potential employers?
Well, this is also going to sound ridiculous, but I've got my middle son, Will, who you've met, Lacey, is going to be an accountant also.
Good.
And I'm giving these exact same instructions all the time. And that is, this is really for anybody. And y'all, this is going to sound terrible. Doesn't mean it to sound mean. But so many people that are coming up now, and they were ruined by COVID and all that. People are just not good.
Yeah.
They're not good employees. They don't show up. So
lazy.
My first thing would be, don't be lazy. Go the little bit extra mile. You don't even have to be great.
For sure.
And it's an advantage. It's not a weakness if you don't exploit it. Okay, I say that all the time. My brother's a football coach. It's not a weakness if you don't exploit it. People are terrible, so all you got to be is better than the average.
Yeah.
And you're going to have all these opportunities. And really good people are going to have just unlimited opportunities.
Yeah.
So the way you differentiate yourself is show up on 15 minutes early is on time, and on time is late.
Yeah.
Okay. I stole that from Wayne, but anyway,
it's okay. We won't tell him.
But live by just little stuff like that. Do what you say you're going to do, and if you show that all, be well dressed. Be just I don't know. It's putting off an air of confidence and competence. Competence is most, like, for instance, we have people show up to interviews looking ridiculous.
Oh gosh.
They don't show up at all. They,
No.
or they say something stupid in their interview. That's one, ways to practice your interviewing. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I left out the most important one. I'm going on interviewing. Do an internship. Seek out an internship. They give them out in December. I'm going to give you guys a little. I'm working on this right now. Most companies are giving them out in December, so start early. Try to get into an intern. I'm talking about for next summer.
Oh, I'm trying. I'm trying right now to look for some.
Yeah. So that's a huge deal. When I see somebody's done an internship, what I see from it is that they're not like what I was. I got my first office job, and I didn't know how to run the fax machine, which y'all don't even.
No, we don't know what that is.
And nobody uses a fax machine anymore, but I didn't know how to even run the thing. And so you're going to learn little things just about how to act in the office, how things, you know what I'm saying? You just learn so much about being. Yes, you're just immersed in it. And I highly value that, and I highly value people that have worked, period.
Yeah.
Like people that work at every opportunity. And don't be afraid to put that on your resume either. It doesn't look ridiculous. For sure. The short-term stuff, and just put on there, hey, I worked every Christmas or every summer or whatever doing that.
Very true. All right. So, can you show us? I don't know how to do it right now, but
I can.
Oh, you can.
Well, I can show you through
FaceTime, possibly.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I sure can.
Or maybe email an attachment or something.
I can. Well, let me do this. I can just FaceTime you and show you my screen.
All right.
And, well, hang on. I made a huge mistake yesterday. So
You
we're
made a
gonna
mistake.
make that mistake again.
Oh no.
So let me while I'm logging into this other thing, let me tell you my mistake, and I'm going to give you guys some very good words for the future.
Okay.
Very good words. So we have a why can I not? There it is. Okay. So I was trying to develop a new procedure because we had got a guy out and all this and the other. So I was trying to develop a new procedure, and I had something. I've been working on the same accounting system since 2000, so 23 years. And I thought I knew everything about it. And we've been doing this little inventory deal, and I was trying to make a job cost. We do everything to jobs. And so I was trying to transfer some material to some jobs, and it looked perfect, everything, but I did it in my live company, which I never do that. If you have a practice company, what they call a test bed, go out there and try new things in the practice.
Okay.
Because when you do it in your what they call the production environment, which is your actual accounting system, it asked me, do you want to post this, whatever? I said, well, there's nothing back there. And when I hit it, it started making transactions.
Oh no.
And so it made 48 transactions over a course of 4 years that I had to go put back the way they should have been, because I never should have done that without testing it out. So I said all that to say this. Let me FaceTime you guys up.
There we go. Howdy.
How are you?
Good.
All right. Hang on. I don't use this very much either. Let me turn y'all around.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm trying to how do I see what you're seeing? Here we go. Let me get my fingers out of the picture. Okay. So this is our accounting system called Computer Ease, and I'm supposed to show you some transactions. Show you how to enter journal entry. Okay. Well, let's do a journal entry. So, like I said, this is something else that differentiates you. If you are either one of you is interested in construction, it's a little different animal that they don't show you in school. Maybe y'all's will, but mine never did. So, if I do a journal entry to a job, let me show y'all something else. You're going to get extra on this because I enjoy this. I should teach.
Good. Yeah, you should. You should do a little class.
Okay, so the way the jobs are set up, we do 2,000 jobs a year. A lot of them ranging from little bitty to $2.7 million. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. What I do is I create these jobs. Here's one that we did in Fort Worth. That's pretty close to y'all.
Yes.
All right. So you go in and you set these jobs up, and you get all the information. There's all your billing and all this stuff. And then we have, what they call it is job, phase, category, and cost type. Okay. So your job number is the top level. And then this right here, these are your categories. So we use construction equipment, concrete, paint shop, ornamental iron shop, gate shop, yard operations, access systems, and field overhead. I put every one of these in every job because I never know. It just makes it simpler.
Yeah.
And so that way everybody learns these. And then, of course, we have change orders out the wazoo. These are stand for change orders when people want more of whatever you're doing. Okay, so inside of each one of those, that's your phase level. Actually, I'm sorry, I skipped the phase level. We go straight to category, but it would just be dot something else. It's another level of breakdown. Okay, and so I'm showing you this so you see the levels of breakdown. Then inside of each one of these, there's cost types, which is labor, overtime, burden, fringes, materials, equipment, rented equipment, subcontractors, and other direct costs.
So you get like an estimate of what it's going to be.
Exactly. So let's say, since I'm in a practice company, I'm going to do one more double check. Up here at the top, it says practice. So we're good. We can do anything we want in here and not tear anything up. So I can't describe to you how important that is. That's why I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
let's say I'm going to go to that same job, Bureau of Print Currency or something up there. Glad to be off of that. So we're going to do construction, which is our chain link department. And let's say I'm going to charge some material to that job.
Mm-hmm.
And what I might be moving it out of our shop job here and whatever. So, but I'm going to use my job number, which is this, and then this 110. That's my cost code.
Mm-hmm.
And then my cost type, you'll see, I'm going to say it's material. Sometimes I might use an invoice number or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, this is another very important thing that y'all are probably not used to. You want
the date.
Accounting, you're always working behind.
Yeah.
So you have to get used to that. So like what I'm doing today is almost never what I'm doing today. This is going to be something from last month that I'm making adjustments because I haven't even started working on last month yet because this is only the second.
Yeah.
But so you're always working in the previous month. That's kind of something to get used to.
Yeah.
Then, so let's say I'm going to put, I don't know, $5,000 worth of something that usually I only do these when I'm making adjustments that I've already calculated up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can put a quantity in it and it'll just give me let's say that's 100 of whatever it is. I don't usually use this stuff. I'm going to go and I'm going to post this to a GL period. This is huge right here. Mm-hmm. Okay. We work in GL periods. Some people
general ledger.
Yeah. So your general ledger, this is your October period. Mm-hmm. And I've got an October date in it. Some accounting systems will let you make a mismatch here. Mm-hmm. So I can post it into the period, but I might have something left over from September and they'll let me put the date. I try not to do that. So that, it just depends on how your accounting is set up.
For sure.
Can't be after September of 23. Ooh, I guess I need to fix that. That's interesting. All right, we're going to do one for September then.
Maybe because have you already posted that?
I've already closed. That's a problem. I'm going to fix that. Well, and the setup, what it might be, the setup on the, here's what we're going to do. I'll just learn all kind of stuff. We're going to go to the current period. So the current period in the practice company, that's what it is. I haven't updated. The current period in the practice company is, come on. This will fix it. Okay. The current period, I haven't updated the practice company. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Okay. So now I should be able to go into the proper period, which is October. Can't be after September 2023. All right, never mind. We'll go back to September then. We'll just make it happy. But just know that so the reason it does stuff like this, just in case you're wondering, is you put these limits in it so that somebody can't accidentally they may put something in for next year. They may fat finger the year. They may put it, and it's just like finding a needle in a haystack the bigger your system is.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this is what I was showing you. So this number up here, I'm giving y'all construction accounting. In regular accounting, we would already be done with this. Mm-hmm. We'd just go to the GL on one side and put it on the other side. Simple. Mm-hmm. But in construction, everything's tied to a job, phase, cost type, all that. So since I chose the cost type of material, those cost types each correlate to a GL account. That's how you keep from getting it messed up.
Okay.
So my material accounts are the 51,000, and then I have it tied out to where these extensions. I actually even have my material construction department set up to where it ties out to this extension, the category extension. Mm-hmm. So the material ties it out to the material GL account, and the extension ties it out to the proper department. Mm-hmm. And then let's say I was taking it out. We're going to take it out of inventory. I think it's 12,000. And I'm going to hit enter. And then in our system, you could just hit OK, but since we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to go in here, we're going to hit display. And so in our preliminary, it's going to show me I hit job number 65598. I got category number 110. It's materials. This invoice number. Here's my period that I intended to put it in. Here's my quantity. Here's my cost. Then I go along here, and I see that I'm making my posting to September 2023. I debited my materials account, and I credited my inventory account.
Awesome.
So that looks right.
That looks good.
Only after I have done that, then I would go back and I'd hit OK, and it would actually make this entry.
To post.
So on and so forth.
Awesome.
So there's that.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So there's a few extra steps when you're dealing in construction, because all that stuff has to be tied together. And just for fun, so I know you are. Hang on a second, I'm gonna show you something. I didn't post that entry. Doesn't matter. You'll be able to see the other ones. Yeah. Is that the right job number?
You have to go.
I'm gonna be 10 more seconds.
Okay, no worries.
So look, this is what I was trying to show you. So that's wrong. Hang on. 5. So what I was going to show you is here's your reports and the way it rolls up. You get your billings, you get here's your actual cost, but it's broken down by those cost types.
Okay.
So it's really a reporting thing.
So the equipment and then the material. That is so cool.
Yeah, and you got your labor and your overtime, and then these will all correspond. When you run this report for the whole month, you can tie it back to your GL and make sure that you have everything accounted for and that something's not out of whack.
Yeah. So you put it in multiple places and, yeah.
Right. It's all linked together, but it's like a relational database. It's all tied. It's got all these links. And so when you pull these reports, which in construction you have to have, because somebody asked me, how much material we spent on this job? Boom, I need to be able to pull that up. How much material did we spend this whole month on all the jobs? I can pull that up.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's nice.
Anything else?
What do you foresee as the future trends in the accounting industry, and how should students prepare for them?
Okay. I think y'all need to prepare for the fact, and I just read this article the other day, there's going to be a lack of accountants.
Yeah.
And that's good and bad. I mean, it's good if you're looking for a job.
Yeah.
Because it's, and what they're saying is that the reason is because you're having to do 5 years, you got to do more school. They require an internship to get your CPA license. If it's what you want to do, it definitely, it's worth doing. It's worth getting your CPA license. I personally have never really used mine. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say that. I did have my own little tax practice, but I didn't really need it to do that. Mm-hmm. I got it because my grades in college had always been so terrible, and I just wanted to prove that I could do it, Yeah. So I did it, and it kind of differentiated me, I thought, a little bit.
For sure.
But that's a future trend. It's taking longer to get it. You got to pretty much get your master's degree to sit for the CPA exam. And I think you just have to be prepared for that. And I think the second thing is know all of these tools, all of the, you wouldn't believe how much we use Excel. Like you need to take and my kids have already done this, take the Microsoft class.
I did.
Get Microsoft certified, do all that stuff. Because
and both Excel.
We use Excel like you can't even imagine. Yeah. I'm actually using other tools like what's the one they stole the election with? SQL Server. Sweet. I can show you how they stole the elections. But anyway, you go in there, you pull data out of a database, you can make changes to it, you can do big searches and all that, put it back where it belongs. But those are the future. Big data is is where everything is going.
Alrighty. Do you have any final advice or insights you'd like to share with aspiring accountants?
Golly, I even wrote it down. Don't be afraid to start at the bottom. That's where you learn.
True.
And like I told you, my first job was processing accounts payable at Rent-A-Center with a stack of TV invoices that were all the way up to the top of my cubicle. I was ready to jump out the window. but I learned how companies did it, and I did it 1,000 times. And then same thing when I did rent to own. It was a terrible business. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I learned how to do collections and how important collections were and different just ways people looked at things. And so don't be afraid of any of that.
Yeah.
Because wherever you're at, just learn.
The dirty work can be the most best for you.
Dirty work.
Gotta do the dirty work.
Exactly correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us, Brent.
You are welcome.
I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
All right. Hope so. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was good talking to y'all.
Thank you. So you as well.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. All right. Let me stop recording. That took